Nechemyah, chapter 13. It was also at that time, when they were reading in the scroll of Moshe, that it was found written that no Ammoni or Moabi may ever enter the assembly of God, because they did not supply the people of Israel with food and water, but hired Balaam against them to put a curse on them, although our God turned the curse into a blessing. On hearing the Torah, they separated from Israel everyone of mixed ancestry. Also, prior to this, Eliashiv the Kohen, who had been put in charge of the storage rooms in the house of our God, and who was related by marriage to Toviah, had prepared for him a large room where formerly they had stored the grain offerings, frankincense, equipment, and the tenths of grain, wine, and olive oil, ordered to be given to the Leviim, singers, and gatekeepers, and the contributions for the Kohanim. During all this time, I wasn't present in Jerusalem, because in the 32nd year of Artaxshashta, king of Bavel, I went to see the king. Then, after some time had passed, I asked permission from the king and returned to Jerusalem, where I found out about the terrible thing Eliashiv had done for Toviah by preparing a room for him in the courtyards of the house of our God. I was so furious that I threw all Toviah's household goods out of the room. Then at my order they cleansed the rooms, and I brought back the equipment of the house of our God, the grain offerings, and frankincense. I also learned that the portions for the Leviim had not been given to them, so that the Leviim and singers, who were supposed to be doing the work, had deserted, each one to his own farm. I disputed with the leaders, demanding, "Why is the house of God abandoned?" I gathered the Leviim together and restored them to their stations, and then all Yehudah brought the tenth of grain, wine, and olive oil to the storerooms. To supervise the storerooms, I appointed Shelemiah the Kohen, to Zadok the Torah teacher, and from the Leviim, Pedaiah. Assisting them was Hanan the son of Zakur, the son of Mattaniah, for these were considered reliable. Their duty was to make the distribution to their kinsmen. My God, remember me for this. Don't wipe out my good deeds which I have done for the house of my God and for his service. During this time I saw in Yehudah some people who were treading wine presses on Shabbat, also bringing in heaps of grain and loading donkeys with it, likewise wine, grapes, figs, and all kinds of loads, and they were bringing them into Jerusalem on the day of Shabbat. On the day when they were planning to sell the food, I warned them not to. There were also living there people from Tizor who brought in fish and all kinds of goods, and sold them on Shabbat to the people in Yehudah and even in Jerusalem. I disputed with the nobles of Yehudah, demanding of them, "What is this terrible thing you are doing, profaning the day of Shabbat? Didn't your ancestors do this? And didn't our God bring all this disaster on us and on this city? Yet you are bringing still more fury against Israel by profaning Shabbat." So when the gates of Jerusalem began to grow dark before Shabbat, I ordered that the doors be shut, and I ordered that they not be reopened until after Shabbat. I put some of my servants in charge of the gates to see to it that no loads be brought in on Shabbat. The merchants and sellers of all kinds of goods spent the night outside Jerusalem once or twice, until I warned them, "Why are you spending your night by the wall? Do it again, and I'll use force against you." From then on, they stopped coming on Shabbat. Then I ordered the Leviim to purify themselves and come and guard the gates, in order to keep the day of Shabbat holy. My God, remember this too for me, and have mercy on me in keeping with the greatness of your grace. Also during this time, I saw the Judeans who had married women from Ashdod, Ammon, and Moab, and their children, who spoke half in the language of Ashdod, and couldn't speak in the language the Judeans spoke, but only in the language of each people. I disputed with them and cursed them, and I beat some of them and pulled out their hair. Then I made them swear by God, "You will not give your daughters as wives for their sons, or take their daughters as wives for your sons or for yourselves." Wasn't it by doing these things that Shlomo, king of Israel, sinned? There was no king like him among many nations, and his God loved him, and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, the foreign women caused even him to sin. Are we to give in to you, and let you continue in this very great evil, breaking faith with our God by marrying foreign women. One of the sons of Yoyada, the son of Eliashiv, the Kohen Hagadol, had become son-in-law to Sanballat the Horoni, so I drove him out of my presence. My God, remember them, because they have defiled the office of Kohen and the covenant of the Kohanim and Levaim. Thus I cleansed them of everything foreign, and I had the Kohanim and Levaim resume their duties, each one in his appointed task. I also made provision for the delivery of wood at stated times, and for the first fruits. My God, remember me favorably. End of Nehemiah, chapter 13.